The retired U.S. Army Major General Paul D. Eaton, standing 3 generals to the right of the president. During the transition, he met with Mr. Obama to discuss ways to restore America's image in the wake of allegations of torture, and he's kind enough to join us now. Thank you for your time this evening, sir.
Keith, great to be with you again, and it's been a blockbuster day. The performance of our president was nothing less than terrific, great courage, and it was a wonderful, wonderful session with him.
The Republicans are already complaining that any detainees released overseas are going to return to the United States and attack it. They have some constructions in which detainees will wind up in city jails and be released by city judges in the United States and suddenly be on the streets of Baltimore or something. How do you believe the decision to close GITMO is actually going to practically affect Homeland Security?
Well, Keith, first, our soldiers detain bad people overseas every day, and then they are sent back into the government system. And in Iraq and in Afghanistan, they will see those same people come back to them. So it's happening right now because we don't have any really good policies on how to manage our detainees. With respect to the detainees that we have in Guantanamo, the President has appointed a very senior commission from the executive branch that will review on a case-by-case basis and recommend to him how to manage the particular detainee. And we'll have to go through all 245 cases that we have in Guantanamo right now.
The criticism from the right is not the only criticism the president has gotten on the second full day of his presidency. The human rights groups who think that President Obama has left some wiggle room on the subject of torture by creating a task force that will study the effectiveness of the Army field manual techniques, which are supposed to be the gold standard on this. Is there validity to that criticism?
Well, first I'd like to highlight that we, the retired generals and admirals, have been working with the organization Human Rights First. Admirable in their work in the prosecution of the way ahead on how to restore our moral standing in the world. And a critical component of that is how you handle your detainees. How do you conduct interrogations? The decision today by the President of the United States to use as a single standard the Army Interrogation Manual and the 19 methodologies within is absolutely appropriate. Now, the idea that you might review and conduct an analysis is appropriate. We do that in the armed forces. We do that in business. We take a look at our tactics, techniques, procedures. We review, and if warranted, if necessary, you may make some adaptations. But this president has been absolutely clear that we will not torture in an absolute understanding of what torture means.
General Eaton, was so much of what has happened at GITMO, not to mention the mere existence of this facility there, was it completely avoidable to begin with that the Bush administration could have handled this at least some degree better than they did from the very start of this whole sorry story?
Keith, absolutely. They allowed Guantanamo to become a recruiting poster for Al-Qaeda. And the fact that we are going to take it down, that we are going to turn this gulag that we have created into a pure naval installation, which is how it started, the prison at Guantanamo will cease to exist and will stop being a recruiting method for Al-Qaeda. The reason it went south, the reason it became a disaster, a public relations disaster, was incompetent management of the prosecution of those men we imprisoned down there. 7 years without a trial is just flat wrong.
The retired Major General Paul Eaton. Once again, sir, great thanks for your time tonight.
My pleasure, Keith. Thank you.
What is